Welcome back to Ultra Koi, where today we're going to be looking at the basics of growing your own koi into those championship winning sizes and getting the best from your budget and the fish that you've got. So when we look at growing fish, we generally start to think about fish farms and the access to things most of us just can't match, like volumes of water, space and climate. When you think about Japan, you think about salmon farms, fish farms in general. They're all generally pretty big facilities. And that can seem quite daunting, quite limiting. But actually, we're going to look at 3 simple focus areas and rules that are intrinsically linked together, which will mean that you can get the best from your setup, your environment, and actually get some pretty damn good results. And you'll see some results on the channel that we've done before. So, let's start with clean water. Rule number 1, your filtration. Now, this video isn't actually going to focus on specific filtration method or a certain type of media or a certain method. Instead, I'm just going to focus on the principles that any successful pond needs to keep clean and stable water. And this is obviously achieved through adequate mechanical filtration and adequate biological filtration. When raising fish in any kind of growth focus, you'll need to make sure that you have the ability to strip the poo from the water column. A lot of fish create a lot of waste, and this is what you need to get out as quick as possible. The more physical waste you can remove from the system, the less impact you will have on your water quality. Mechanical filtration can be achieved with drums, sieves, static media beds, filter sponges, and good old-fashioned filter brushes. The method doesn't matter so much. It's more about you choosing the route you're going to take and signing up to the maintenance that comes with it, the budget that will go with that. Drums, they use water, typically have less maintenance. Brushes use a lot less water over the course of time. You're going to need to maintain them by cleaning them out. Same with static beds, etc. There is no perfect solution. It's what works for you. Me personally, I love a drum, but the cost and the outlay for running one is actually really high when you strip it back, especially in growth environment. Once you've got your mechanical filtration sorted, you need to pick how you're going to biologically filter the water. Now, for those new to the hobby, this is where a bit of research on the nitrogen cycle kicks in. But in simple format, your biological filter is where all of your good bacteria will be concentrated. We're going to eat and convert all of the toxic nasties that fish waste creates in your water. So pick a media that maximises the footprint that you have and offers you the best surface area. When it comes to filtration, bigger really is better. And again, when you're dealing with that intensive raising setup, because you have probably got a high volume of fish, a high volume of food, you want to have as much capacity as possible. It's going to put a large strain on any filter system. The bigger it is, the less maintenance it's going to need. And again, the opposite can be said for the smaller it is. The smaller it is, the more maintenance it's probably going to need as well. And remember as well, when you're talking about a body of water, the volume, the longer it will take to be saturated with toxins, the more water there is. So you've picked your filter, you've got your setup sorted. Next thing we've got to look at and think about, and probably the most important part of this after the filter, is climate. Heat, and more heat. So we've looked at the clean water. The highest priority on your list now is going to be your water temperature. You need to be above 24 degrees Celsius, ideally. And probably, I would say, in the 25 to 27 degrees Celsius range for when you're trying to grow your fish intensively. Why? Well, there's 2 reasons for this. This, first of all, is where your koi's metabolism and the systems are at their best. Nature, nurture, survival. This is when Mother Nature knows that this is the best temperature to grow. Food's going to be in abundance. The more it comes in, the more it will grow. Koi will grow at phenomenal rates when they're fed at the right diet at these temperatures. And this really is why you need to be here. The second reason, and often most overlooked actually, is your filter bacteria. Same applies to them. The bacteria that live in your biological filtration are approaching their most efficient temperature at this range, not only for processing the waste that's in the water, but also the length of time that they can multiply in their colony. This means your system can adapt quicker to feeding demands and process waste quicker, which again, when you're growing with lots and lots of fish, this is one of the most important parts that you need to consider. The ability for you to be able to throw food in, the fish eat it, digest it, and then the waste that comes out of that, your system able to cripple it out, fouling your water completely. Tripping over my own words. So this again, when you look at this, what the effect this has, this is probably the most important area as far as your budget's concerned. Without heat, you're not going to achieve any real kind of growth or any real kind of system stability at the high food levels which allow the fish to thrive. Obviously, depending on your water volume, there are different ways of heating your water. Again, I'm not going to focus on that today. This is just going over the basic key things you need to get in place. But you can use things like a simple fish tank heater. You can use air source heat pumps. You can use gas boilers, all sorts. However, whatever way you decide you're going to do it, that stable temperature from 25 to 27 degrees is key. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed that, guys, and it's given you a little bit more confidence in what it is you're trying to achieve or what you need to do to conquer some growth this season. Think about it. Like I've said, there's no set way of doing it. Do what works for you, what works for your budget, but have a crack. Don't be put off. It's a great experience growing fish, especially when you're going for an intensive race in the koi. Really enjoyed the growing show last year, as you can see the winning fish on the screen now. So as ever, guys, check out the channel. There's plenty of videos on this subject throughout. You'll see their own successes that I've had. But as always, please do support me, guys. Hit that like button and do give us a subscribe. And I will catch you all next time.